I don't think there's anything that's ever come as close to skirting between adorable and terrifying as Monokuma. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to PlayStation Underground. On today's show, Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony coming to PS4 on September 26th.
Yes, indeed.
I am joined once again by Alan Costa from NIS America. Hello, sir.
Hello, hello. It's like I never left.
It is like you never left. It's almost like we're shooting in the same spot as a different video. So we are playing, you just lovingly call it Dangan, but I'm going to call it V3 because that's way easier to say.
That works.
This is obviously a beloved visual novel style game with a lot of different things going on in this game, but primary of which is story, mystery, intrigue, and also a very cool, stylish art style as well.
Definitely.
But at the center of it all is one psychotic bear, and you're here to tell us a little bit about this. Now, I know we're going to kind of fly through a lot of these cutscenes here. Folks watching, you can get a taste for it.
Exactly.
But of course, you're going to get the full experience when you play it for yourself in September. But Alan, do I need to know the first two V's before I get into V3?
I'd say it's highly recommended, but worry not. The game does a fairly good job of introducing you to kind of what's going on and how to play and all that. And another great thing is what I'm actually playing right now is the demo version of the game. There will be a demo on PlayStation that will be coming out several weeks before the game launches.
Okay.
Where players, it's a specially made scenario for the demo itself, introducing people to Dangan and kind of the systems and things like that. So that's what we're playing today.
So technically, it will not really spoil the game proper for you.
Yeah, this won't spoil anything.
Okay, cool. And I don't know if you're allowed to say if our favorite psychotic bear is back, but I think it's probably safe to say he's in this game in some capacity.
He is. He's all over this game. His paws are all over this game.
Paws are everywhere. I hear a lot of people talk about the Danganronpa series because it sounds so outrageous. But it just works, and people really have clamored around it. I mean, if you could point to something that really drew people in, I mean, what would you say?
Gosh, there's so much. I'm going to go ahead and use what the developers themselves called the game, which is the first the first two games they called it Psycho Pop style, and this one's called Psycho Cool. And I think people watching, and maybe as they see and read the dialogue, I think that will begin to make sense. But I think those are actually perfect adjectives to describe the game.
Yeah, and we don't really want to give away too much of the story, but to echo the previous games, a lot of ultimate students come together, and they it's sort of a murder mystery, and you as the main character kind of put everyone on trial. You're trying to figure out what's going on, who is killing who,
right?
And also I think. And you're shooting truth bullets.
I am.
I don't know what they're called in this game.
It's still truth bullets. Right now it's just like the check phase. But in a nutshell, Danganronpa, like you did a great job of explaining, Clemens.
Oh, thanks. Did all my research.
Thank you very much. Is a visual novel, but it's also a mystery game. And some of the biggest influences for it were media like Battle Royale and things like that, and other famous games that maybe deal with trials or things like that.
I wonder what you're referring to.
And the creator, Mr. Kodaka, he really wanted to kind of blend all these together and tell his own unique story. And so all these students are the ultimates, as you said, which means they're the best at one particular thing. And it's not kind of really mundane things like, I'm good at math, I'm good at, sciences or things like that.
There's no ultimate mathematician in this series? I feel like there must have been. 3 proper volumes, and there's no mathematician. Someone's going to fact check us afterwards when they're watching this video.
Alan, you lied.
And they're like, why didn't Alan know? I thought he had an encyclopedic knowledge of the whole series.
Yeah, my tattoo here covers 1 through 2, so
those
are all my crib notes.
Okay. I was going to say I didn't see a tattoo, but maybe it's written in invisible ink.
But our protagonist this time is Kaede Akamatsu over here on the right. She's the ultimate pianist. This is Don Taro here. He's the ultimate we don't know. You'll find out when you play the game. But anyway, all these students are at the academy. They get put there. They think it's going to help their future because this is kind of like the premier academy in Japan to get kids and people on their way in life. But it turns out it's being run by a maniacal bear named Monokuma, and he makes the students kill one another. And so the only way to get out of the school is if you kill someone and then get away with it. Every time someone gets murdered, what happens is a class trial, which we'll see in a little bit here. And at the class trial, you'll use the evidence that you've gathered throughout the investigation. And you'll go through various different mini games to figure out who actually is the killer. And once that person gets exposed, as the blackened, as it's called in the game, then unfortunate things happen to them.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I don't think Japanese high school actually operates like this. I'm not an expert. I've never lived there, but I just get that feeling. I have visited several times. I don't think there's an academy run by a psychopathic bear.
You didn't notice all the kids killing each other all over Tokyo?
No, I don't. I certainly hope not. So yeah, and of course, just like I kind of alluded to before, there are a lot of different genres at play in the Danganronpa series. And in V3, as you can see, there's a little sense of first-person exploration.
Right.
There's the visual novel element, and there's going to be the trial, which we'll get to later. Can you tell us a little bit about this area of the game? You said that it was built just for for this trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
The scenario itself, but a lot of the assets that you're seeing are in the game here. And so you're in a school, and
we're just flying through it.
We're just flying through it right now. But you're in the school here, and you, the director, the writer, Mr. Kodaka, he really wanted to, I don't want to say normal visual novels are monotonous, but, there's only, usually
only so much you can do.
A lot of X button, right? In this case, he really, in all the novels, he wanted to do a lot more.
Oh my gosh, he's back.
Here he is.
A panda. Ah! Man, just a really... I don't think there's anything that's ever come as close to skirting between adorable and terrifying as Monokuma.
Funny backstory about this. I've done many talks with Mr. Kodaka, so I have a little bit of insight into what he was doing. And he said when they were initially coming up with the concept, he had the artist, Mr. Komatsuzaki, draw something. And the first one was kind of like, it was a human being. This was way back in early
Oh, wow.
concept playing. So I was like, no, I don't really want to go with a human. And then he's like, how about this? And it turned out to be Monokuma. He's like, that's it.
Wow.
Yep.
Second try.
Yep.
No. We got to see Monokuma, so we'll jump ahead to the kind of class trial portion of the game.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, so now we are back, and we have entered a new section of the game. Alan, please tell me what's going on.
So this is what I mentioned a little earlier. This is called the class trial. Basically, the game has three playable parts, you could say. One is like the daily life part where you're walking around talking to your fellow classmates. Another part is after a murder occurs. You'll be doing investigation, and that's when you'll get things called truth bullets, which you'll see as we use them throughout the trial. And the final phase of gameplay is the class trial, which is where we're right now. And this is where we use all the clues that we've collected and our wits, and sometimes our skills at driving cars or shooting bullets or things like that, in order to figure out who is actually the culprit.
Do we, I don't know, maybe use knowledge of the game that already exists in our heads because we've done the demo a whole bunch?
Or maybe
I feel like
that.
Okay, I feel like you might have a little bit of a benefit there.
I do.
It's amazing, though, how a game with a 2D art style can have so much like 3D going on in it. I mean, the camera's always moving around. You always feel like there's something very kinetic and exciting about it. So
the art direction in these games just blows me away. And it's funny because we recently released, or re-released, I should say, Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload as a pack on PlayStation 4.
Right. There you go. It's the perfect way to catch up.
And that was really pretty. It looked great. And then we actually, when I walked by when we were doing testing for both games, to see them side by side, it will blow your mind. Like, for a visual novel, it's really, visually impressive.
Yeah. Well, I certainly hope so.
Right.
And do you think that this is the kind of game that could even get its hooks into gamers that wouldn't normally name visual novel as one of the genres that they enjoy, right? I feel like there's this weird bridge that this game builds between gamers that don't, have that past.
Right. No, I really think it is. I think it's kind of like, I don't know if you're into anime, but it's kind of like a series.
I think it's safe to say I am.
Okay. You know how people say, like, if you don't like anime, you should watch Cowboy Bebop, right?
Right.
I feel like if you don't like visual novels, you should try Danganronpa, because this will be the one
perfect.
that will probably change your mind. If anything's going to, it's going to be this.
Well, that comparison certainly puts you in good company, doesn't it? So there's still a lot going on.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, I have not been paying very close attention, so I hope you know what you're doing.
I do. This is called the nonstop debate. And what this means essentially is I'm going to use facts, which are the truth bullets in the bottom left, in order to refute his argument. So I shot my argument. And I'm saying, no, what you said is wrong, because we found earlier on the person who had been murdered, there had been evidence of a struggle. And he said, I don't think they'd been struggling. And because we had been able to discover that when we were investigating, I can say, no, there was evidence of a struggle. Counter that, and that continues the trial.
Okay, awesome. And is your main character, is she an ultimate, or is it not very clear?
Oh, she is. Her ultimate skill is she's
deduction.
the ultimate pianist.
Oh, that's right. I